Welcome back to the 97th episode of the BatChums podcast. I'm Drew Leiter, and joining me tonight is my co-host, the man, the myth, the new legend, Mike Gordon.
Howdy. Wow, we're almost at 100.
Yes, and we are we are at season 3, episode 1. Can you believe it?
Yeah, wow, that's amazing. Season 3, we finally got there. Man, season 2 was long. And not in a bad way. I don't mean it in a bad way. But yeah, so um this is new season and a lot of new things. A lot of changes here. Obviously, there's a big one that we've got a new cast member. But yeah, there's a lot of different things that are taking place here, which is kind of interesting. So I can't wait to get into it.
Me either. So let's go ahead and start with the unaired pilot of Batgirl.
Gotcha. The sort of introduction promo video they made. So, and that they made that in 1967. Now, a little bit of backstory, and there's no. I don't know if this actually, Drew. I saw a couple of conflicting things that I don't know if this actually aired on TV. I saw a couple things that said that it did air because it was, this 7-8 minute clip that introduces Yvonne Craig as Batgirl and Barbara Gordon. I saw that it aired in some markets, but it wasn't part of the show, so I don't know. But it was primarily done to introduce producers and sponsors, the network, to uh, to the concept of introducing Batgirl. And look, whatever your feelings are about season 2, the ratings were going down, particularly the Wednesday installment. The first chapter. A lot of people would tune into the second chapter, but they would skip the first one. I guess they figured all the action was happening in the in the second one. So uh so when ABC made the decision that come 1967, the fall of 1967, the new season, Batman was only going to air once a week. Because the ratings were dipping, and also CBS was now airing Lost in Space on Wednesdays, and that was killing it as well because they were doing good ratings for that bracket, that same audience that they were going for. Uh, CBS was getting with Lost in Space. So um, they needed to invigorate the show. And William Dozier thought that the best way to do that would be to add a new character, and that would be Batgirl. Now, there was a previous Batgirl in the comics, as we know. She was Batwoman's sidekick in the 50s, I believe. Maybe late 40s. I'm not sure when she popped up. But anyway, she was Betty Kane, the niece of Kathy Kane, who was Batwoman. And those characters were created because of the supposed subtext between Batman and Robin, and trying to sort of offset that by showing, hey, they're interested in women. But the Batwoman and Batgirl did not really last very long. They were abandoned in the early 60s. So by that point. So William Dozier and the other producer, Howie Horowitz, approached DC about creating a new Batgirl, who was Gordon's daughter, and so they did that. I think Julia Schwartz was the editor at the time, and Detective Comics came out, number 359, January 1967. So at the beginning of this year, that this aired, and introduced the comic world to Batgirl. The I believe it was Carmen Infantino who did the initial design of Batgirl, and I think he did the cover as well. And yeah, and so Batgirl made her debut. Barbara Gordon slash Batgirl made her debut in January 1967. And then here we are in September of 1967 getting a Batgirl on TV. So, in a lot of ways, we have to thank the TV series for giving us Batgirl, Barbara Gordon, because that wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the TV show. So we get this now. They decided, that they would do this, and in order to appease the sponsors as well as show off like the new improved show, they filmed this video. It wasn't a video; it was actually probably on film then. But this film, this short film introducing um, Barbara Gordon as Batgirl and Yvonne Craig in the role to try to convince the network and the sponsors that yes, Batman was still valid, and hey, now it's got something for the dads. Not just not just malls for the villains. Now there's a sexy girl in the that you can look to forward to seeing every week. So that's how that spouted. So that's the sort of sets the backstory behind what now this video. And if you haven't seen the video, it's pretty much available. You can see it on YouTube and quite easily, I think. It's also included in the Blu-ray box set that I have for the Batman series, and Drew said it was in the videos that he had for included in the videos he had for what he's watching, which we're not going to discuss any further because that's probably not legal. Um, so it should be pretty easy to find. And it's just like I said, it's a less than 10-minute introduction to her, really quick. It's done on the cheap. They don't even list who directed it or who wrote it or anything like that. But in doing our due diligence, both Drew and I did read the first comic that she was introduced to. And like I said, Detective Comics 359. And so they did have a framework and a story to work from in terms of adapting for the TV, which is pretty cool because, we've seen that they didn't do that a lot. Especially in the later part of the series, they kind of abandon adapting comic stories. But here they go right back to the original source material. Granted, it's not that old. It was just done like earlier that year, and adapt it in a way for this introduction. So,
The Gotham City Library. Millionaire Bruce Wayne is waiting on the librarian to bring him a rare book on butterflies. Bruce asks the librarian if she is new here. She replies yes, but they are not complete strangers. She is Commissioner Gordon's daughter. Bruce points out his young ward, Dick Grayson, who is speaking to Bruce's friend, millionaire Roger Montross, who is a famous explorer. Bruce is actually checking out the rare butterfly book to prove a point.
so um, we see we're introduced to Barbara Gordon. We're introduced to Yvonne Craig as Barbara Gordon, the lovely and talented Yvonne Craig, who was around from 1937 to 2015. Were you familiar at all with Yvonne Craig before Batman or any of her work other than Batman?
Nope.
Wow. So, I mean, she did a lot. She worked from a very young age. She was actually in 6 episodes of The Many Loves of Dobie Gillis, which we talked about before, that show. And she was in two right before this venture into becoming a superhero. She was in two Elvis movies. She was in It Happened at the World's Fair, 1963, which features a very, 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 very young, I think it's his first ever film credit, very young Kurt Russell. And also actually she's also in Kissing Cousins from 1964. And then she would go on to be in Man from U.N.C.L.E., 1965. She's in the movie In Like Flint from 1967. She's in the movie Mars Needs Women in 1968. Not a great classic of movie, but very, very much of its time, I think. Most famously, I think she was in an episode of Star Trek. She was in Whom Gods Destroy. She's painted green. She's dancing around because she's also a ballerina. She started as a ballerina, then transitioned into TV and movie acting. Uh, so she actually acted alongside Cesar Romero, aka the Joker, in a war drama called Seven Women from Hell. And even before that, she was actually in an episode of Perry Mason where she played Neil Hamilton's stepdaughter.
Huh.
So she wasn't even. This is like so she's. This isn't the first time she's played uh, Neil Hamilton's daughter. So that's kind of funny. So she was on a lot of stuff in the '60s, and she worked well up to like the '70s and et cetera. I think her last role, oddly enough, was she did voice work in the 2000s, and she was a voice. She played Grandma, the voice of Grandma in the TV cartoon Olivia. She did like 30 episodes of that over the course of that run of that show. So she was very, very cool, very talented. I got a chance to meet her once at a convention. She was very cool to talk to, and yeah, we miss her. So that was their choice for Barbara Gordon, and I think you'll agree it was a good one.
Yes, I agree. And I have seen her in other things besides Batman because I saw her in the Star Trek episode.
Now he remembers.
But I guarantee that I saw her in Batman first because I don't remember watching Star Trek till I was older.
Gotcha.
So I'm watching Batman when I'm 5. I remember watching Star Trek around 4th grade or something like that is when I remember. So
It's probably the same for me, but I think I was probably watching Star Trek a little bit earlier than that. So, but I don't know. I don't remember those years as well as I'd like to. So, but it's funny because after making the presentation film, she had to wait a while to learn if she was going to be added to the cast for the new season. And she was told the news while she was at an ABC function in Chicago. And she was very, very satisfied with it. But yeah, they actually toyed with the idea of having it be a spin-off. There being two Bat shows a week, one Batgirl show and one Batman show, and occasionally they would cross over.
hmm.
So they were looking at that, but I think the ratings were dipping so low that they were lucky to get a new season, let alone a spin-off. So, and for them, and I'll also say this: uh, William Dozer also produced a pilot for a Wonder Woman series, which never happened, and thank God, because that if you see it, I can't recommend it because it's terrible. But I know that I can't stop people from watching it because you're curious, right? The people that did Batman, or we're going to do a Wonder Woman show. I got to see this, and go ahead and see this, but know that I mean it's not good. It's not good at all. And they also did a pilot for a Dick Tracy series, which never came to pass. But and I think that one was more in the tone of Green Hornet, which of course is by this time is canceled. So it's another knock against making shows like this at this time. And obviously, I think Lost in Space was proving that the science fiction realm genre was actually where people wanted to go instead of superheroes.
Bruce thanks Barbara for her help and then walks over to the table where Roger Montross is sitting. Bruce shows Roger the book and tells him better luck next time. Bruce and Dick say their goodnights to Roger and then walk towards the exit. Dick points out the 4 men sitting at a table, and Bruce acknowledges that they are Killer Moth and his henchmen. Bruce thinks that Batman and Robin are needed here on the double.
So we haven't seen Killer Moth before. And so he's new to us, even though they recognize him. He first appeared in the comics in Batman number 63 from February 1951. And he has the distinction of being in the first issue featuring Batgirl. Who am I talking about now? Batgirl, right? So in that Detective Comics issue, he is the main bad guy that Batgirl and Batman in that issue face. So Killer Moth is played by they really went out on a limb. No, obviously the spotlight is on Batgirl, so they didn't really put much energy into the villains here, as I think it shows pretty obviously, because they got Killer Moth. He's played by Tim Herbert, who we've seen before. He was around from 1914 and 1986. He has about 58 acting credits, but he played Whiskers, one of the henchmen of the Riddler in season one. Riddle a day keeps the Riddler away, and away when the rat's away, the mice will play. He's one of the rat guys. So he stepped up in the world. He went from henchman to leader of a gang. But his outfit is pretty bare bones. Even for this show, like, yeah, you could tell that the budget is being cut this season as well on the show. And boy, he's barely got all of them barely have costumes. They're just basically hats with little antennae
Antenna.
thing on them with nothing else. So they didn't, but the purpose of this video is not, or this film was not to show off the villain. It was to show off Batgirl. So they didn't, they spent the money where they needed to.
It is 9 p.m. and the library is closing. The head librarian informs Barbara that she is locking the door on her way out. When the other patrons are ready to leave, just unlock the door and let them out. The telephone rings and Barbara answers it. It is her father, Commissioner Gordon, who is concerned because Barbara stood him up for dinner again tonight. She apologizes for not calling. She's going to have to work late tonight again.
Dun, dun, dun.
Commissioner Gordon asks her about tomorrow night. Barbara states that it is a definite date. Barbara kisses him through the phone and tells him he's handsome. Barbara starts shelving some books when Killer Moth and his four henchmen get up from the table. Three of them knock out millionaire Roger Montrose, while the fourth grabs Barbara Gordon from behind. I might be off on my count there. I think there was three henchmen in
Yeah,
Killer
it's
Moth, wasn't it?
right. Color Moth looks a lot like one of the henchmen, so it's hard. He's distinguishable because he's got like material hanging that I guess are supposed to be wings, whereas the other three do not. But one thing I wanted to say too about that conversation that she has with her dad, the Gordons there, is that even though they're not in the same room, it's over the phone. But I feel like even right there and then, you buy Barbara as Commissioner Gordon's daughter. Like they have chemistry. It just feels, maybe I'm putting a lot onto this because I know I've seen other stuff with them, but it still like clicks, I think. And I think this show had a very, very good reputation, consistency with things clicking like that, whether it's, the main guys when they first cast the show, or villains when they cast the villains and henchmen and malls and stuff like that. It just seems like they Dozier and the other producers had a really good knack for finding, like, recognizing chemistry and acting on it. Because, like I said, I think Yvonne Craig and Neil Hamilton, even not even in the same room, but it just feels like they just feel like they know each other. That they're father and daughter there. Am I wrong?
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. I totally agree with you. Barbara is dragged to a separate room and locked in. Barbara makes sure the door is locked, and then she dashes across the room and opens a secret closet.
Yeah, we do get William Dozer doing the voiceover here. He does it at the beginning, and he does it here to kind of explain what's this. She doesn't seem very, I don't know, I can't remember exactly what he says, but it's something to the effect of, like, she doesn't seem like she seems like a pretty cool customer for someone who just got dragged into a room. And yeah, and what's this behind the wall? So yeah.
Back in the main part of the library, Batman and Robin come busting through the doors with the Bat Lock Breaker Ray, and a fight
Of
ensues.
course they do.
Killer Moth exclaims, "With caterpillars come cocoons." Firing his moth spray gun, Killer Moth traps the dynamic duo in an instant paralyzing cocoon. Holy transformation! In the locked room 1 minute ago, plain Barbara Gordon, librarian and Commissioner Gordon's daughter.
I don't know if
Now,
I'd call her plain, Drew.
now Batgirl, modeled after her idol Batman. She uses her secret exit to go outside the building. Batgirl makes an entrance into the main part of the library by smashing through a window. Holy aberration! No boy wonder, I'm Batgirl. You are no longer alone, Cape Crusaders.
It's a very cool entrance. She comes in the outfit, and you're like, wow. I mean, she looks great. I mean, obviously the outfit is pretty form-fitting, but as we saw in the comics, it was very form-fitting. I mean, that was what that was the intention, was to attract people, particularly men and boys to watch this and go, ooh. And the outfit is very similar to ones that we've seen before. We saw a purplish kind of skin tight outfit by Linda Gay Scott when she played Moth in season one, Rings of Axe. Give him the axe. I think it's ironic or kind of coincidental, whatever, that she played Moth in that. In that season two, Kathy Kirsch as Cornelia, as one of the Joker's malls, the Impractical Joker and the Joker's Provokers. She's wearing a purple skin type, and it's very much like Catwoman's outfit. So it's not like it's completely unheard of because we've seen Catwoman wear this kind of outfit and we've seen some of the malls wear it. So, but there is something really cool about it. I think the best thing about Batgirl here, and it's in the comic too, that first comic, is that Barbara Gordon is a brunette. She's a short-haired brunette, and Batgirl is a redhead. And when she puts on the cowl, she's got fake red hair or whatever. And I think that's a great way to distinguish the two of them. And it makes a lot more sense why people can't recognize who she is because you're looking for a redhead, and Barbara Gordon is not a redhead. So, and that was established in the comics. Somewhere along the line, Drew, the comics and every place else just kind of dismissed that. Like she then became a redhead. Like if you see Barbara Gordon in the last, I don't know, 40 years in anything, animated series, and all that, she's a redhead, right? So I think that I like the idea that she distinguished herself as a different hair color in her hero gear. I like that a lot.
When the henchmen have been oh, wait a minute. Batgirl engages the henchmen and a fight ensues. When the henchmen have defeated When the henchmen have been defeated, Batgirl pulls out a compact stating she will get the dynamic duo out of their silk straitjackets. Holy vanity case! Robin thinks it's a bad time to powder her nose. Batgirl corrects Robin, explaining it is her electronic Batgirl compact with a laser beam, which will destroy anything, and she frees Batman and Robin. Once freed, Batman, Robin, and Batgirl re-engage the henchmen in round two of their battle with Killer Moth and his henchmen. During the fight, Batgirl tells Batman it is a delightful, dynamic destruction. Batman adds, which Batman adds wouldn't be able to be accomplished without her. Batman asks Batgirl who she really is. Batgirl answers, have you ever revealed your true identity? Hers must be kept as secret as his.
Yeah, they're just chatting away while Robin is like, "Hey, I could use a hand here."
Batman replies, of course, understood. Batman excuses himself and asks Robin to contact Commissioner Gordon to let him know they foiled Mothman and his Mothmen, thanks to this lovely. And then they turn, and Batgirl's gone. But Batman suspects they have not seen the last of her. She's either part of their team or a new or a new crime-fighting rival?
Yeah, this is also significant too because I think I don't know. I'd have to go back and look comic wise, but the fact that a bat figure just disappears on people is a trait that we usually associate with Batman. But I don't know that it was established at that point. Batgirl might be the first one to do that. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into it and see if it happens more often. But uh, you know, Batman being surprised that she's gone, it's like you part of me is like, well, you do that all the time to Commissioner Gordon, but he doesn't on this show.
No, he doesn't.
And I don't think he was doing that prior to this series. I don't think he was just disappearing on people. And I wonder if that trait is something that he got from Batgirl here rather than something that, the comic people did for him.
That would be pretty funny if they would have done it on this show, that Commissioner Gordon.
I don't think his heart could have taken it. I mean, they just run out of the room most of the time, so it's not like they spend a lot of time lingering around, but yeah, they don't he doesn't just disappear on him like he does in the other media that we've seen post post series.
Batgirl rides into the night on her special Batgirl cycle. Who knows? Is the dynamic duo destined to become the triumphant trio? Only time will tell us more about this dazzling daredevil Batgirl.
So I know that obviously it's tailored to look more quote unquote feminine, and that's kind of like a little too obvious. But aside from that, I think the Batgirl cycle looks really cool. I've always thought it looked really cool.
It does look really cool, and we got to see it up close at the replica at the
Bat
Batman
Museum.
Museum. Yep,
Yeah, we did. We got to see a replica of it, which is the first time I'd ever seen a replica of it, and that was pretty awesome. But it looks really, yeah, it does look cool, and even looks cool against a fake backdrop where we know she's not really riding it, and she's not wearing a helmet either. So shame on you, Batgirl. But I think this is way before helmet laws were put in place. And it's only a back screen, so she's not going to get too hurt.
All right, so let's dive into the regular episode now. Batman Season 3, Episode 1, Enter Batgirl, Exit Penguin. Episode aired Thursday, September 14th, 1967, directed by Oscar Rudolph and written by Stanford Sherman.
So we've got our two mainstays. These are the guys that are running the show, really, from a creative standpoint, directing and writing wise. We'll get a few other writers here and a few other directors for sure, but Oscar and Stanford are the two guys. So it's no surprise that we start the season off with an important episode featuring a new character and for real for viewing with by Stanford Sherman. And he might have even written like I said, I couldn't find any information on who wrote the introduction video to her. So hopefully we'll find that out at some point, or we can, I don't know. Maybe it's just been lost of time, but at least we have. So all the stuff that we've just talked about and just saw, like, you have to say to viewers, forget about all that because it doesn't quote unquote count, right? Like there will be changes made to the character and a little bit, some tweaks here, and we'll talk about some of those too.
Every day in Gotham City brings new surprises, but this day is going to top them all. Batman and Robin return to the Batcave after having clipped Catwoman's claws. She won't be troubling Gotham City for a long while, and I'm disappointed we didn't get to see it.
Well, I understand that, and I do wonder if that was their way of saying, Julie Newmar's not available anymore. I don't know if they knew this early that she would not be available and they needed to replace her, but maybe. But yeah, it was their kind of way of saying like, well, yeah, she's not going to be there for a while.
Batman reminds Robin that tonight Bruce Wayne has invited Chief O'Hara and Commissioner Gordon to the opera. Robin suggests that he stay home and do homework, but Batman disagrees. He thinks Robin should acquire a taste for opera as one does for poetry and olives. Besides, Commissioner Gordon is bringing his daughter Barbara along as his date. So tonight is Dick Grayson's night for musical appreciation and social amenities.
You got to stay
Batman.
home. No, you got to go to the opera. No, he's being dragged to the opera.
I don't blame him. I'd have probably wanted to stay home and do homework too. Batman and Robin go up the bat poles to resume their normal identities as Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson.
Hey, you got to dig that, right? Like we
Yeah,
don't usually see them just kind of hanging out by the poles talking,
no, we don't.
and then go launch it up back into the Wayne Manor. That's pretty rare. So that was really cool.
At the Gotham City Library, Barbara Gordon is about to leave for the evening when she receives a call from her father reminding her about the opera tonight. Barbara hasn't forgotten. The marriage The Marriage of Figaro is her favorite opera. Besides, she's looking forward to seeing their host, millionaire Bruce Wayne. Commissioner Gordon tells Barbara that Bruce Wayne is picking them up at her apartment at 7 p.m. Later, Barbara Gordon enters the lobby of her Midtown apartment building and presses the button for the elevator and enters it when the doors open. Welcome to my cage, my wild dove. Penguin squawks from the elevator's emergency hatch. Two umbrella handles reach down, snatch Barbara underneath her armpits, and hoist her up through the emergency hatch. The penguin comments that she is a tasty little squab. Trust Penguin to have a surefire recipe for penguin pie.
If you're going to start off the season, start it off with a bang, and starting off with a Penguin episode with Burgess Meredith is on brand. I mean, that's a cool way to start. Don't give us like another Archer kind of new villain guy. Just give us the tried and true. Because you've got a lot of stuff going on here, so give us something that we know is reliable. And Burgess Meredith as Penguin is always reliable.
And then for the first time in the 2 years of this show, we get a new intro.
We do. That's right. We do get a new intro.
So, which is pretty cool. We get to see Batgirl swinging in on a rope and kicking somebody, if I remember.
Correct.
And then towards the end of the intro, we see her go zooming in front of the Batmobile on her cycle.
Yep. Yep. So we get two things right away that say that we get those graphics before we even get Batgirl.
Yep. Commissioner Gordon and Chief O'Hara arrive at Barbara's apartment to find her not at home. Using a spare key hidden behind a picture in the hallway, Gordon and O'Hare enter Barbara's apartment. She doesn't even look like she's been home from work. 20 feet away in the very next apartment, Penguin congratulates his genius for hiding Barbara in the last place in Gotham City anybody would come looking for her. Back in Barbara's apartment, Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson arrive to learn that Barbara is not at home. Suddenly, the phone rings and Commissioner Gordon answers it, hoping it is Barbara. Instead, it is the Penguin. He asks the commissioner if he is missing anything. He's got Barbara, the feathered fiend. Commissioner Gordon tells Penguin that if he so much as touches one hair on her head, he'll. Bruce Wayne asks for the phone. He will pay whatever price the Penguin asks as long as he does not harm Barbara Gordon. The Penguin replies, harm her? I'm going to make her the happiest girl in Gotham City. You may want to check out you may want to check out the society section of the Gotham City Time. And the Penguin hangs up. Dick hands Bruce the newspaper, and they find what the Penguin is talking about. The Penguin, well-known entrepreneur and man about town, announced today his forthcoming marriage to Ms. Barbara Gordon, daughter of police commissioner. Commissioner Gordon snatches the paper out of Bruce Wayne's hands, stating that Barbara would never consent to marry this scoundrel.
I think Neil Hamilton is really doing a great job. I mean, we've seen him kind of upset before, but this he's really kind of on another level here. Just really, really convincingly acting, angry that his daughter's been taken, and I really appreciate him.
Bruce Wayne agrees, stating, "Of course not. That's why he kidnapped her. Penguin will threaten her and force her to consent." Dick adds that by marrying the commissioner's daughter, Penguin hopes to gain immunity from prosecution by becoming a member of the family. Commissioner Gordon states that there is only one man who can help him. Magic Batman. Oh.
I yeah, I think that yeah, I don't think, I mean, this is kind of on brand for the Penguin. He's trying to figure out like a way to rework the system so he's legit, but he could still be a criminal and do bad things. But his logic here is not sound.
No, it's not.
I mean, while I'd like to say that, just because you're related to somebody doesn't mean you're not
Immune from prosecution.
yes, you're not immune for thank you, Drew. You're not immune for prosecution. Unfortunately, we've seen in real life that is kind of the case at times. So maybe it's not as far-fetched as that as he thinks, but yeah, it is kind of like, well, just because, but in any case, but being married to the Penguin is as I've mentioned before, I just think he just doesn't smell good.
He smells fishy, huh?
He smells fishy in all kinds of ways, and in every way that you can take that term. He probably because we've seen him put on the fish cologne. Yeah, it's yeah, gross.
The commissioner is afraid that Bruce and Dick will have to go to the opera without him. Bruce replies that they are in no mood for the opera now. If there's anything they can do, just telephone him at Wayne Manor. Commissioner Gordon thanks Bruce from the bottom of a father's heart. Penguin unties Barbara Gordon, informing her that soon they will be joined in holy bonds of matrimony. Barbara believes that all that waddling around the Penguin does must have scrambled his brains. Penguin tells Barbara not to get cocky. If she doesn't marry him, then he'll have to put Plan B into operation. Penguin's henchmen put bullet holes into a cardboard cutout of Commissioner Gordon. Barbara calls Penguin a monster. Penguin states that either Barbara becomes his bride or she will become an orphan. Reluctantly, Barbara agrees to marry Penguin. Just leave her father alone. Penguin orders a couple of his henchmen to go out and snatch a minister quick. He wants to get this wedding over with before the dynamic dunderheads put the snatch on him. One of the henchmen responds not to worry, they'll get him to the church on time. Penguin orders Barbara into the adjacent bedroom. She is to put on a wedding gown and wear it with radiance like any blushing bride. Barbara retorts she is not blushing, she is furious, and she slams the door in Penguin's face. He just chuckles and locks the door with his key. Batman and Robin come sliding down the bat poles. As soon as they enter the Batcave, the hotline phone is ringing. Commissioner Gordon informs Batman about Barbara. Batman explains that they will use the Bat computer to make a list of all Penguin's hideouts. They will telephone as soon as it is finished. Batman reassures Commissioner Gordon they will get Barbara back. Robin wonders where Alfred is. He could give them a hand with the computations.
Mhm.
Batman explains that he is out for the evening. He has a meeting with his minister to discuss a church supper. And I just want to point out here, of all the times we've seen Batman and Robin compute with the Bat computer, I don't ever remember them asking Alfred to help them.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, the script is kind of clunky at times. And I will give them a little bit of leeway because for the first time, this is a story that's taking place in a half-hour period rather than a 2 episode arc. This is the first single standalone episode we've ever seen of Batman. And so they have to like shortcut a lot of things. And they're not used to this kind of story, I think, as far as Batman goes. So I'll give them a little leeway for that because it does really feel like when you watch this, it feels like a blur. Like compared
Yeah,
to all the ones we've been watching with that take two parts and are kind of just going to kind of go, they have this pace that they're just like going this deliberate pace, not slow, but just this deliberate pace. Whereas this one feels like they're just speeding through
yep.
it.
Elsewhere, Alfred is meeting with Reverend Hazlitt, who hopes the church supper is a success. They badly need the money for their summer camp. Suddenly, two of Penguin's henchmen barge in, demanding to know who the minister is. Alfred answers that it is he. Alfred opens a secret panel on his belt buckle and presses a red button. The henchman tells him to move it, preach. The other henchman ties up the real preacher. We've seen him
Now,
use that belt buckle before.
yeah, I think so. I'm not sure if it was called the same thing, but yeah, I think we have seen that before. And it's important that that Penguin's not there for this because Penguin knows Alfred. We've established that Penguin and Alfred have a prior relationship. I mean, he kidnapped and tortured Alfred for a whole 2 episodes. So he knows what Alfred looks like. Although, there's not a lot of recognition when he does finally see him, in a little bit. But at least here, when they first go to get him, it's just his henchmen that, as far as I know, are not there. By the way, I haven't done complete bios on both of these henchmen because man, it's like they blip and miss it. But I will say that one of the henchmen is Bill Hickman. It's his only time, I think, working on Batman, and he was a amazing stuntman and really, in particular, an amazing stunt driver. He's the guy who drove the black Dodge that was pursued by Steve McQueen in Bullet, which is one of the most famous uh, car chases in all of film history. And I believe Bill Hickman also was a driver in The French Connection as well. And so he's established now. Obviously, he's not driving here, but he's doing more of a stuntman or just on camera stuff. But he's a notable actor, stuntman. If they did Academy Awards for stunt people, Bill Hickman would have won many times over, I think. So I think it's notable that this is his only Batman appearance.
Back at the Batcave, the emergency bat call box alarm is ringing. Holy complications! It's Alfred's emergency belt buckle bat call signal. He's in trouble. Robin uses the bat radar scope and discovers that Alfred is at location B-7642, one of the Penguin's possible hideouts. To the Batmobile! At the Penguin's hideout in the abandoned apartment, Penguin orders Alfred to coach his bride on her lines. If the Penguin doesn't hear a nice I do, he'll be visiting heaven instead of preaching about it.
Yeah, see, Penguin should have recognized Alfred at this point.
Yes, he should have. I mean, I think in between season 1 and 2, I think came across him like three different times.
Oh yeah, yeah. Alfred was the one who was undercover when the Penguin was trying this marriage thing before, and as a reporter that then actually uh, got got the drop on him literally because I think he threw out the rug from underneath the Penguin to get away. And then, like I said, the Penguin kidnapped him once and tortured him for a while. And then I think he wasn't he showed up in the one where Penguin goes to court. Um, yeah, there
Possible.
was one
Yeah.
where the Penguin goes to court, and I think Alfred's in that one too prominently. So he knows him, but
Yeah.
here he doesn't. So yeah, this is one where continuity is thrown out the window.
Penguin unlocks the door and one of his henchmen shoves Alfred through the door. Barbara Gordon is escaping out the window. She tells Alfred that there is no time to explain, but he must trust his discretion as a man of the cloth. He must not reveal her secret. Alfred replies he doesn't know her, or
He doesn't
Alfred
even know what his secret
replies,
is.
yeah, Alfred replies that he doesn't know her secret or even who she is. Barbara Gordon takes the window ledge to her own apartment and comes in on her porch balcony. Barbara hurries to her bedroom where she presses a button on her changing table. The wall revolves around, revealing the wall the wall revolves, revealing another changing table and her bat costume.
Yeah, so there's a lot to unpack here because it's obvious from this setup that Barbara Gordon has been thinking about doing this for a long time because this is not something you can just put together. And we haven't even gotten to the bat cycle yet. So, and it makes like in the pilot, or in, I should say, not in the pilot, but in that promo clip, that introductory promo clip that we talked about, she accesses her Batgirl area from the library, which again doesn't make a lot of sense. It makes a lot more sense for her to have it in her apartment than it does for
Yeah.
her to have it at the library. So I think that's a smart move. Exactly how she got all this done without anybody knowing, I don't know. I mean, but you know, that's the same thing with the Batcave. Um, so it's one of those things that's just kind of like you just kind of throw in and go, okay, cool. But yeah, so she does but it is cool. It's still cool. Like that's the important thing. I think that it is that it looks badass and it does look badass. Plus, not only is it does she have like her outfits there, but she also has like I think there's a punching bag and there's some workout stuff. So no so you know she's been working out and so she can take care of herself, which
Right.
I think is pretty cool. It's not just a pretty room, but it is weird like she you know, we don't think she's been back from college that long. So she went from, coming back from college to deciding to be Batgirl. And I don't think we ever get the real sort of story behind why she's doing it. But it is noticeable. It is notable that that it would be kind of nice to explore that. But we don't really know why Batman and Robin are doing what they do. We don't really spend a lot of time on that on this show. We don't spend a lot of time with dark origins.
Nope.
So yeah. So anyway, but it looks cool.
Back at the abandoned apartment where Penguin is preparing for his wedding, he tells his henchmen that they are about to witness the coup of the century. The world's leading arch criminal becomes the son-in-law of the police commissioner. The ping the penguin doesn't know whether to call him daddy or just commish.
So both of those are creepy. But also I love how Penguin just nonchalantly calls himself the greatest arch criminal. Even though he hasn't had much success.
Batman and Robin sneak in from the balcony. If I were you, Penguin, I'd call for help right now. Robin adds that when they get through with him, he'll he will be hollering uncle instead of daddy. The dynamic duo is always sticking their noses in Penguin's business. This time, he's going to teach them a lesson. Batgirl enters through the window, stating as long as Penguin is holding classes, perhaps he'll include Batgirl too. Penguin yells he is surrounded by bats. Penguin orders his men to attack, and a fight ensues.
So this introduction of Batgirl is pretty dynamic. She's coming through the window and she looks badass. She's standing there with her in the superhero pose with her hands on her hips, and she looks cool. The outfit, as you'll notice, there's a little tweaks to that as well. Apparently, even though it was more like the comic version of the costume, the points on her mask, part of the cowl, her pointed features there are reduced, they're rounded out. My understanding was is that the points there were kind of hurting Yvonne. She was not really comfortable with that. And yeah, when you see that first episode or that short film, it kind of looks awkward that those points are there. They look cool in the comics, but in real life, the softer ones look pretty cool. And I think, there's a lot of criticisms that her outfit is too much like stereotypical female. And there's some truth to that. I'm not going to deny it. But even Yvonne Craig didn't mind that at all from the interviews I've seen with her. In fact, she really encouraged everything to be as quote unquote ladylike as possible. And in the fight sequence that you're about to cover, we in the promo we see her using things like props to hit the thugs with, right? The Mothmen, and knock them out and everything. And she really destroys the library. She like totally trashes the library there. She's gonna have a lot of cleaning up to do in the morning. But in here, she's basically sticking to kicks, and it is, I think, for the most part, Yvonne Craig doing all of this because they didn't have I don't know if they didn't have a stunt person that fit the right mold, but they really kept her stunts to a minimum. And she pretty much just uses the kick, which she was used to doing with ballet too. Even in later when she's riding the bike, she owned a motorcycle. She knew how to ride a motorcycle. So most of the time when you see Batgirl, it's not a stunt person. It is Yvonne Craig. There are going to be some exceptions, but for the most part, it's not like Batman and Robin who are like switched out every time a punch is thrown, right? Like so you do see Yvonne Craig in that suit more often than not.
When the fight is finished, Batman addresses Batgirl, stating he doesn't know who she is, but she certainly knows how to handle herself well. Holy agility, Robin agrees.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, couple things here. One, I do like the when Batman and Robin first see Batgirl in the short clip, the short introductory video clip. The I love their reaction because Robin's like, "Who is that?" And Batman just goes, "I have no idea." Like he is stunned. We don't get that in the actual pilot. We don't get that in the actual first appearance. Instead, they're pretty cool about it. They don't know, but they're pretty cool about it. And it also this show, and you could see this in the intro film as well as the pilot, because Dick is supposed to be in high school and Barbara is just out of college. It is not appropriate for Barbara and Dick to be a couple. Now, in the comics, they really Dick was by the time Barbara was introduced, Dick was more college age. So it made sense for Dick and Barbara in the comics to be interested in one another romantically. In in this version, that's not acceptable because Barbara is much older than Dick. So that's not appropriate. Instead, we get a lot of flirtation between Bruce and Barbara, which I understand at the time, and I understand for the reasons that they're doing it, but it does make me uncomfortable.
Yeah. I get you there.
Yeah.
What was it? I think it was there's a movie where we have an interaction with Batman and Batgirl. Um, which movie? It's
Are you
the
talking about
Killing Joke.
the Killing Joke? Yeah, the
Yes,
Bruce Timm added the first part where before they adapt the Killing Joke, he tells this little story about Barbara and Bruce, actually Batgirl and Batman, kind of getting together like in a sexual way on the roof, and I did not care for that.
I
And
did not either.
um, but I can like looking at this series though, Drew, I can understand why Bruce Timm was of the opinion that Barbara and Bruce, that Batgirl and Batman make a decent couple because in this show, that's what they're flirting with each other. And I think it's going to continue. So whereas I guess maybe it would have made more sense if they called her Batwoman. But Batgirl and Batman just feels kind of icky. Uh yeah, so it's something that it's probably going to come up multiple times this season when we see them interact. But it starts right at the very beginning with Bruce hitting on Barbara Gordon in the library in that first intro video or first I keep calling it a video that first intro film that they did, and it kind of goes on here too. So it's yeah, it is what it is, and so we'll see what well, it's something that we're going to have to look at and see most of this season, I think.
Now, in the comics right now, Barbara Gordon and Dick Grayson are dating.
Yeah, I mean
Or
they've gone
they're
they're off again on again, right?
yeah,
Like so it's good to know that they're on again. That's cool.
yep.
But I mean in the comics I think Dick's gone out, we'll say to use a euphemism, with a lot of different superhero women.
Yeah, that is true.
He is kind of like the Richard Gere of superheroes, really. But I like you much prefer the chemistry when it's written right between Dick and Barbara. I think it works really well, especially when Gail Simone writes it. When
Tom Taylor.
In the Birds of Prey series, I love that. So that's where I always lean towards, and every time I see something that is not that, uh, it makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable.
Tom Taylor's his run on Nightwing, the relationship with Barbara and Dick is pretty good.
That's cool.
And they're even working together as Nightwing and Batgirl a little bit.
Nice.
And Dick picks up a dog too named Haley. Haley Circus. So
Right.
I don't know. I love Tom Taylor's run on Nightwing
Nice.
when he was
Nice. I
on it.
don't think
So
I've read that one. But that's good to hear. That's good to hear. So I like that. And I've always said that to me, it's Batman and Catwoman. So anything
yeah.
that like it, interrupts that is something that I'm not really in favor of. So so there's that too, that element of it too. But yeah, so I just wanted to acknowledge it because we're gonna see it quite a bit, I think.
Batgirl thanks the dynamic duo, stating she is sure they could have handled these crooks without her help, but was glad for the chance to join in the fun. Batman can understand Batman can understand her enjoyment. However, their purpose here is quite serious. Batgirl agrees that crime fighting is a serious matter and to her too, but they might as well get a few laughs out of it. Batman states perhaps some other time. Criminals like Penguin are dangerous and deadly. Batman tells Robin that they better check on Barbara Gordon. The dynamic duo rush to the door, but it is locked. Batman yells through the door, asking if she is all right in there. Alfred answers, "Quite, sir. It's Alfred."
Like, who is that?
It's Alfred, millionaire Bruce Wayne's butler. Batman explains that they will have him out as soon as they can bat pick this lock. Batman asks Robin for the bat tool, stating they could always borrow a hairpin from Batgirl, but she is gone.
Yeah, again, disappears.
Robin wonders if they should go after her and find out who she really is. Batman implies, not now, they need to get to work on this lock. While Batman is working on picking the lock, Penguin wakes up and gasses the dynamic duo with his umbrella. They fall unconscious to the floor.
So I'm usually a big proponent of Robin not being a dunderhead or not being a boy blender, but here he has one job. Like Batman is trying to pick the lock. Robin, keep an eye on the bad guys. And he muffs it. Like completely muffs it. Instead, he's watching Batman when he should be watching the bad guys.
Penguin wakes up his henchmen and orders them to bag the dynamic duo, along with the preacher and his bride. They throw them out the window into the back of a truck full of mattresses. Man, that window was high up.
Yeah, I was like, I wouldn't want to make that drop. I don't care. That's got to be a pretty good mattress in that truck, in the bed of that truck, for me to bounce off. Like, yeah,
Well, it
that was.
wasn't just one mattress in there. That thing was loaded up with mattresses.
Oh yeah, true. But still, yeah. I mean, I can't remember if they said what floor it was, but it did look like it was significantly high up.
Yeah,
I would not want to jump down it.
it wasn't the second floor, I can tell you
But
that.
I love the fact that the penguin, when he jumps out, he uses an umbrella to sort of like, we don't really see it, but it's cool enough that he uses that to kind of float down, and I like that element of it.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Batgirl sees the criminals escape from the window ledge. She hurries back into her apartment and through a secret door into her Batgirl lair. She presses a button revealing a Batgirl cycle in a secret freight elevator. Batgirl exits the freight elevator through a secret brick door in the alley. She zooms past the Apollo Theater and chases after the Penguin.
So we've got the Bat Cycle again. It's a lot. It's modified a little bit from the promo introductory film, but it looks really still pretty badass, I think. Looking at there's a lot of like it's weird because they had guys like uh, George Barris and Dean Jeffries who customized a lot of their vehicles. But the only thing I was able to find out about the Bat Cycle here that Batgirl uses, Batgirl Cycle, I guess it's called, was that it was designed by Customotive with a K, Customotive, a group called that. And I'm not really sure about who really did the work on it. But yeah, they customized a Yamaha, I believe is sort of an undesignated model of a Yamaha. So some Yamaha model that's from the 60s, and that's what she's driving and that's what she's riding. Um, but apparently they only paid like $500 or something like that to do it. At least initially, anyway. I don't know if they, yeah. So there's a little bit, uh, yeah, there's a little bit of debate on exactly uh, like who orchestrated and who designed it, but I still think it looks really cool, and I love the. I don't think it's there on the actual episode, but in the short clip on the presentation, the rear view mirror was bat shaped. But they removed that for the actual show, which I don't know. I kind of like that. But anyway, it looks pretty. It sort of matches her outfit, that's for sure. It's purple, and I still think it looks pretty cool. Yes, it's girly because it's got frills and whatever on it, but I still think it looks cool.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
And she looks really comfortable on it.
Yep. A while later, Penguin asks the dynamic dupes how it feels to be a couple of human tea bags. He has them bagged up and hanging over a cauldron.
So this is at least the fourth appearance of this giant cauldron on the prop that we've seen on the show. Most notably, we've seen it on the episodes with Marsha Queen of Diamonds with
Yep.
Aunt Hilda. But also, I think there's a giant cauldron. I believe the Penguin used one once for the dynamic duo. I think it's in the Mayor episode when they're hanging above this sort of cauldron of acid or whatever it is that they are in that one. But yeah, this is the fourth appearance of the giant cauldron. And but the
Didn't they
first one in this season, we'll see if it shows up again.
didn't they also use it when Aunt Harriet was
Oh,
dangling?
right.
Yeah.
Yes, Aunt Harriet was hanging over a giant cauldron in the first season. You're right. With the I can't remember the villain's name
Its
there.
name, I know. It was she was like a magician type
Yeah, yeah,
villain.
yeah. She was
Can't think of her. Zelda the Great.
Zelda the Great. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Whew. Yeah. So, but you're right. That yeah. So we've seen a cauldron before, and I think this is the same one because I think they are starting to look. The rest of the set is again bare bones. It's black back there. Like, so we don't have these elaborate sets anymore. Instead, it kind of they kind of get away with it because of the style of the show, the sort of pop artness of the show. They can get away with things like this, but yeah, it obviously is a big change from previous seasons where they don't have as much money.
Batman replies that steaming them to death will do him no good. The law will get him in the end. Penguin explains that he is going to dunk them, but before he does, he is going to let his bride out of the bag so she can see what'll happen if she doesn't cooperate. Penguin goes to open his bride's bag and discovers it's the preacher. Penguin goes to open the other bag and Alfred knocks him off balance. Penguin tells Alfred it's the pot with him right after he's performed the marriage. Suddenly, there is a crash. It is Batgirl. She tells Penguin that before he throws everyone in the pot, he may find himself in hot water. She just adores weddings. Penguin replies, funerals before weddings. Penguin shouts to his henchmen to get her, and a fight ensues. Batgirl takes on the henchman while Alfred runs towards the control panel. Penguin grabs Alfred's arm with the handle of his umbrella. Alfred turns around, puts up his fist, and Penguin tries to jab him with the tip of his umbrella, but Alfred dodges. Acting quickly, Alfred punches Penguin in the face 3 times, and the Penguin staggers back.
I
That
mean, Alfred at the end of season two, he practically defeated the Joker one-handed, single-handedly, I should say. And here he is taking it against the Penguin. I mean, Alfred is the man.
I think why
He,
Batman and Robin have been gone from the Batcave in between his dusting, he's
yeah,
been working out.
he's been working out. He's been getting more involved. It's kind of interesting because, in the early days when Alfred was first introduced in the Batman comic book in the 40s, he was Alfred Beagle and he wanted to be a detective and he thought very highly and then he wanted to join them in their crime fighting endeavors. And usually it was used as for like a comedic thing, for humor, written for humor, because he was always kind of like, oh, don't be Alfred's trying to help. But um, this show had an influence on that as well, I think, because it shows that Alfred can handle himself. He is tired of being gassed. I think it all comes down to that, Drew. I think he had two or season and a half of being gassed all the time and was like, no more. I am going to take fencing lessons. I'm going to take boxing lessons and I am going to beat these guys up. So good on him. And meanwhile, Yvonne Craig's doing over there kicking. And I got to tell you, A, she looks good because her kicks her ballet kicks look beautiful, and B, they look like they hurt. So they're effective and they're beautiful. So beautiful looking, smooth looking. So good on Yvonne Craig. Good on Batgirl because she's getting the job done too.
Alfred rushes quickly to the controls and releases the Cape Crusaders. He apologizes for the delay, but he had a little bird trouble on the way.
And look at that. He even does the little has a little quip about it too.
Freed, Batman and Robin grab the Penguin and use him as a battering ram against his own henchmen. Next, they grab the two henchmen who have Batgirl in their clutches and ram them into each other. While Batman and Robin are still fighting the henchmen, Batgirl confronts Alfred, telling him that she knows he is not a minister. She overheard him tell Batman that he is Bruce Wayne's butler. Alfred confirms that that is true, Ms. Gordon, Batgirl.
Oops.
Batgirl accuses Alfred of tricking her into revealing her secret by posing as a minister. Alfred replies he had no intention of tricking her. He only took the Reverend Hazlitt's place because he wanted to protect him from being injured by Penguin's thugs. Batgirl apologizes, stating that that was a very brave thing to do, but the fact remains that he knows her dual identity. She makes Alfred swear that he won't reveal her identity to anyone as a gentleman's gentleman.
Yeah, which basically, a gentleman's gentleman is quite what they referred to as a valet. So basically, a butler. He's pretty much his word is a butler.
Alfred agrees that no one will ever learn the secret from him. Batgirl thanks Alfred and then kisses him on the cheek. Batgirl grabs the purple bag with the fake Barbara Gordon and tells Alfred that she must make a quick change. Robin tells Batman that it is time to bag the bird. Batman agrees. Penguin yells that birds are out of season and to get away. Batman asks Alfred where is Barbara Gordon? Alfred explains that he placed her out of sight to avoid all danger in the fighting. Batman frees Barbara from the purple bag, and Barbara asks what happened. Is that terrible man gone? Batman answers that he is temporarily out of circulation. Batman asks if Ms. Gordon is all right. She replies that she has never been proposed to at Umbrella Point before. She apologizes for being so helpless. Alfred rolls his eyes in the background. I didn't know if you noticed that or not.
Yeah.
Batman asks Alfred, where is Batgirl? Alfred replies that she left a few minutes ago. She stated she had other business to attend to. Batman suspects they haven't seen the last of her. Barbara asks, who is this Batgirl? Robin replies, that's what they'd all like to know.
Well, two people don't. Two of them already know.
Batman states that whoever she is behind that mask of hers, she helped them out in a dire dilemma. Barbara agrees that it would have been horrible to be married to the Penguin. Later, at the Bureau
Oh, you
of
missed
Motor
it.
Vehicles.
You missed it.
What I
Before
miss?
you get to this big momentous moment, which I know you're waiting for, so
Yes, I
I
am.
know you've been waiting for to get to this because this is a pretty big moment too. But the Penguin is just so funny when Barbara Gordon says it would have been horrible to be married to the Penguin. Burgess Meredith is his best thing ever in this show whole episode, where he's like one of his best things he's ever said. He's like, "Ha ha ha ha! To be married to me, you can't imagine such bliss." Oh, it's just he's really fun. He's really fun. Um, it's too bad we didn't get a lot of him, but this show was just moving at a clip, and it's not over yet. I mean, it's just so much happens in this.
Yes. Later, at the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, Gotham City main office, Bruce Wayne congratulates Dick on his fine score for his driving test. How does it feel to have his license? Ha! We've been go I ever since our first episode, I believe it was. I've been predicting that he's getting his license. This is the episode I remember. And I know I've seen this episode more than once. So
Well, it's a
we
Batgirl
find
episode, so of course you have.
but we're finally here. He finally has his license. I remembered this for a long time.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty obvious that Burt Ward is not a teenager at this point. So I think they're doing what they can to sort of, get the character a little bit older. We'll see if he actually gets to drive, like the 1940s Robin does. But yeah, so we won't have to make excuses anymore for him not being able to drive the Batmobile. So yeah, I'll be looking for that too if Robin gets to drive the Batmobile, which I don't think it's going to be anytime soon if Batman has his say.
Dick replies it's going to be a little easier on Batman now that he can drive. Bruce wants to stick to Dick Grayson for a moment. Since Dick got his license on his birthday, he deserves a little something special, like a 1968 Plymouth Barracuda convertible.
Yeah, sweet red colored too. Like that
Yeah.
is like candy red colored. Like that's like yeah, that's that's what a millionaire does. That's what a millionaire can do. Woo, that's a sweet looking ride. I'd be like, I'll race you in the Batmobile. Nah, the Batmobile would beat him. But anyway, it's a sweet ride. I don't know if we'll ever see it again, but it's a sweet ride.
At police headquarters, Commissioner Gordon is excited to receive a very sizable check from millionaire Bruce Wayne for their police pension fund. Commissioner Gordon decides to call him at once and thank him. Commissioner Gordon pushes the button on his phone for Bonnie, but gets the Riddler instead. Riddle me this. When is a jet stream like a daffodil? The Riddler hangs up. Chief O'Hara remembers that Bonnie had mentioned trouble with crossed lines all morning. Commissioner Gordon states that they better cross Riddler's line with Batman's quick. The Riddler is back to puzzle and perplex. The Riddler is back to puzzle and perplex the dynamic duo. Be sure to watch the next episode. Back at the license branch, Dick's new car starts buzzing. It's a Bat Alert buzzer connected to the phone in the Batcave, as in their other cars. Let's go. Bruce reminds Dick that his new car is not the Batmobile. And Dick states not to worry. Highway safety is every citizen's prime responsibility.
So, more exciting than the fact that the Riddler is coming next is the fact that it's Frank Gorshin. So we got Frank Gorshin back next week, which is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, so a lot happens. I mean, this is a big episode. It's a lot of changes to the series that kind of had the same format for two seasons, and they're mixing things up a bit. I mean, not only is it, it's only once a week, standalone episodes. There will be some two-parters and I think at least one three-parter. In order to keep that sort of cliffhanger thing kind of going, this one starts with letting you know who the villain is next week. So it's almost like it's not a trap or anything that they're in, but it's just like a preview of what is going to happen next week. Um, we've got our usual cast, and so uh, we see Bruce, we see Dick, we see Batman Robin, of course. We see Alfred has a bigger role now because not only is he just the butler, but he's now the confidant of Yvonne Craig's Batgirl, and so that's going to put him in positions that he wasn't in before because he's going to have to be, sort of skirting around Bruce and Dick for a while and keeping Batgirl's secret. Neil Hamilton actually has a bigger role now because his daughter, like the character, his daughter is going to be on the show. We see Stafford Rep; he's still there, so Chief O'Hara still gets a nice formal suit with a complete with medals at the beginning. And the only thing's missing is Aunt Harriet, who's no longer part of the cast, which is kind of sad. But then again, you're kind of like, where would they fit her? I
Yeah.
mean, she could have gone to the opera with them, but then again, they sort of ditched that anyway. So she would have been left at the opera all by herself. In addition to that, we get the sound effects in the fight are changed with this new season. They flash, so that's a new thing. And the music is different too. The background music is different because it's Billy May has taken over for Nelson Riddle as the composer for the series, and he has introduced a Batgirl theme, which we'll get. So we get that. We get shades of that in this as well. So a lot of new things are happening on this show, and for the most part, I think most of them work. Um, the only thing about it is it does feel like it's just flash and then it's over. Especially, I mean, the Penguin is always great, played by Burgess Meredith, but there's not a lot of him in this. I mean, he does his thing and he does it really, but he does it really well. But we don't linger on him like we have the villains in the past. There's no time to linger on anybody. So you've got a bigger cast and you've got like a shorter time to do that. So to deal with them. So it'll be interesting to see if how many times they kind of strain with that sort of formula. But overall, I think the introduction of Batgirl is amazing, and I love watching this. It is a joy to watch. So,
No mall this episode either.
what's that?
No mall this episode.
No, I mean there's no time for it. Like who
No.
you can't have. I
Well,
do wonder if the villains are going to have malls. I mean, all of the henchmen, like I said, one of the reasons why I didn't go into detail about a lot of them is because they're not even named. They just wear t-shirts that say henchmen on them.
yeah.
So, so they're not even really credited. So yeah, and I like I said, I don't think we're going to get any celebrity window appearances anymore because I just think they don't have time for that anymore. So we'll see how it goes as we continue on with the series. I'm really curious because I'm pretty familiar with a lot of these episodes, but there are some that are blank slates for me, blind spots, if you will, in my memory. So I'm really curious to see. But I think the third season is off to a good start. I am watching this. I'm excited by the possibilities of what they're going to do. So uh, very
All
cool.
right. All right. Well, that wraps up another episode. Do you have a shout out, Mike?
I do. Since we're talking about Batgirl and her first appearance here, I do encourage people to look at the first appearance of her in Detective Comics. I know that that first issue is really expensive, but I have a facsimile edition, which is pretty easy to get, and it's been reprinted in a lot of volumes. So, and if you are part of the DC Infinity app, it's free. So you can
Yeah.
read it there. And I definitely recommend that. But my shout out goes to because even though that's a pretty cool introduction to her, it was really like her early years are really, I think, defined pretty well in a comic series that came out in early 2000s called Batgirl Year One. Batgirl Year One was a 9 issue series that was written by Scott Beatty and Chuck Dixon, with Marcos Martin and Alvaro Lopez doing the artwork. And it shows her journey to becoming Batgirl and the reasons behind it, and her first sort of forays into superherodom. And Killer Moth is in it, of course, and it's treated very seriously. It's not tongue in cheek. but it looks pretty good. The artwork is great. I've always been a fan of Marcos Martin, especially his work on Spider-Man, but I think it works here too. You can get this collected. It has been collected in a trade paperback form, and it also is available. I'm pretty sure it's available on the DC app as well. But I, for one, am looking forward to rereading it as well because it's been a while since I've read it, but I do remember it being very, very strong. Yeah, check it out. Batgirl Year One.
I don't think I've ever read that before, so
You should.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if it's on the app.
So, yep. All right, and for my shout out, I got a shout out about my Batgirl poster. There she is.
Uh, and
So
that's
I
from a
got that.
promo photo. There's a lot of promo photos of her from this time period, and that is one of my favorites because it does look pretty cool.
So I have that right above my Batman. So pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I think the I'll have to dig it out. The I do have a signed photo from her when I met her back in at Dragon Con, and I think that was in the early 2000s as well. Might have been in the 90s. Oh, I'm gonna have to figure that out. Oh man. So anyway, but yeah, so she was very nice, and yeah, she takes good pictures. So I don't have my picture with her, but yeah, she there's a lot of promo pictures out of Yvonne Craig from her various role that are Batgirl and that are not Batgirl. So I would encourage people to do that.
All right, if you'd like to all right, if you'd like to leave feedback. All right, if you'd like to comment on the show, you can reach us at our feedback line 317-455-8411. Text us, leave us a message, or you can email us at batchumspodcast@gmail.com. All right, you ready to get out of here, Batchum?
Bat chums are ready to move out.
Atomic batteries to power, turbines to speed. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Don't worry, Frank Gorshin is yet to come.